From This Corner with John Ball is brought to you by KNEO 91.7 The Word.
From This Corner, I'm John Ball, and From This Corner is dedicated to making Neosho, Southwest Missouri, a better place to live. And one of my very special guests, a guy that's been here several times, is Dr. Jim Cummins. Dr. Cummins, thank you so much for being here.
It's good to be here, always.
Hey, we've got another one in the books almost, don't we?
We do. We are winding it down. We finished up our map testing and end of course exams. The seniors' last day is this Friday, and we'll graduate them next week, and we're starting to wind it down. It's been a challenging year, but very rewarding in the effort that our people have gone to, our students, our team members, to make it happen. And there are a lot of places in the country that still aren't in school, so I'm proud of our crew.
That amazes me, and you all put a lot of time and trouble, so kudos for that. But I'll tell you, one of the statements that I have liked and hung on to was from Larry Bergner. He told me that when we have kids out of school, then we don't know where they're going. They may be quarantined, but they go here and they go everywhere else. When they're in school, we keep track of them. And that's a kudo to you all and your ability to be able to keep track of what's going on.
Thank you. Yes, we take that serious, and several of them we feed a couple of times a day, and we know that they're secure when they're at school. But number one, our job is to educate them, and we can only educate them when they're there.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, let's talk first about graduation and kind of talk about the timelines. We'll be able to see graduation, by the way, because we're going to live stream that on the Neosho portal, and that's going to take place on the 13th of May.
Yeah, we're excited. The turf has given us some opportunities to bring outside graduation back to Neosho without having to worry about, is it going to be wet? Is it going to be muddy? So our plan is to go forward next Thursday, 7:30 at Bob Anderson. We're going to have some off-site parking spots. We'll be shuttling people. So if they don't want to fight the traffic, they can park off-site, get on a shuttle, and we'll drop them off at the gate. I just stay tuned for those locations. I think they're about to solidify that. But yeah, it'll be exciting to have it back in Neosho. Our plan is just to, if weather moves us Thursday, we'll back to Friday and Saturday, and we'll just keep going until we can have it. Because inside is really not an option anymore, regardless of COVID. But certainly we're not going to put a couple of thousand people in the gym at the present time. So it'll be outside, and it'll be Thursday or the first day that we can get it in.
Oh, that'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be a little bit different than the drive-by that we had last year, won't it?
It will be. Renee and I were talking about that this morning. It was so hot last year. But, the feedback from those seniors and their parents was positive in that, they got to have it. It was really an intimate ceremony because they got to drive right up to the stage, take the pictures, and it was a celebration. So kudos to Mr. Barrett and his crew for pulling that off last year and for all the preparation that's gone in this year.
Okay, we're going to have the graduation, but up to that point, we'll have a senior assembly, we'll have baccalaureate, just like before, right?
Yep, just like before. And you can, I think Ms. Spangler has put that out on the school district Facebook page, but certainly there are schedules out there in the community about all of the dates and times for senior activities. They're going to paint the hill next week, and for those of you that have concern about painting the hill going forward, the moving of Hill Street will not impact the annual tradition of painting the hill.
Well, I tell you what, I can remember many, many years ago what painting the hill was like, and it has grown into a huge, huge event from what it used to be.
Yes, and no longer do classes have to do it in secret. It is a scheduled activity now.
And then we've got project graduation, which is going to be on Saturday, and it'll be from 6 to 9.
Yes, I believe it's here at the Neosho Y, and I think that may be some spillover from last year. The school district really doesn't do much with project graduation, and so I don't know all of the particulars about moving it off of graduation night and doing things, but I can tell you that I think the number one thing that my children at least took away from project graduation was really just getting to hang out with their friends. And there were a couple of times where after we moved the ceremonies to Joplin, that we didn't really get to celebrate graduation afterwards with pictures and those type of things, because the kids were being rushed around so they could go back and get on the bus to go to project grad. So I think this, as far as families go and students being able to go out to eat or just celebrate with their families after graduation and then have project grad on another day, there seems to be some good things about that. But like I said, that's kind of handled by the senior parents and a little bit out of our purview.
Sure. And I'll tell you, it's all about the seniors, isn't it?
It is. And Mr. Barrett has done a fantastic job of bringing the seniors into the planning of graduation. We're going to have a senior speaker this year, which is something we haven't had in a while. And I could just commend him on making it an event that both professional and classy, but also that the students were involved in planning.
Yeah, that's great. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to have a graduation too.
Yes.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it's been a tough year, and we've done a lot of things a little bit different, but we're just about to make it through by the grace of God.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about construction. You somehow, I guess you got bored once upon a time and decided we need to do something for the school district, and we have a huge multi-faceted construction project going on.
Yeah, it's been exciting, and Mr. Fretwell and his group are doing just an outstanding job of managing all of that. Branco, construction manager, getting that all ready for bid and working with the subs, and just quite a task. $32+ million worth of projects across the district, different ones happening at different times. So there's certainly the challenge of logistics, and that's the value, quite frankly, of having a construction manager that is on board helping us work with the architects to make sure we stay in budget and do those things, but also just knowing how to coordinate effort so that hopefully those subs that are here right now working on the end zone facility will be anxious to bid on the Performing Arts Center. Since they're already mobilized here, they can move right over into that. And so they've done a lot of work trying to sequence those projects. As I was telling you, the end zone project, we suspect some concrete to be poured this coming week that will get ready for the south side, which is locker rooms, concession, those items. And then the building package is supposed to be here around the 1st of June. So that's exciting. Once you see a project start going vertical, that's when it really starts getting exciting. Expectations are still that the front side, the audience facing side of the building will be done for our first home game. The indoor part probably a little bit later, maybe a month or so later. The middle school safe room is about to get a roof on it. Very nice space for the middle school students, but obviously also for our professional development that opportunities will house good sized groups out there. So it's moving along. It'll be done by the 1st of school. The secure entrances at the middle school entry will be done this summer, so it'll also be ready for the start of school. And the Performing Arts Center is just about ready to bid. So first week or two of June it will go out to bid. We should see some construction early July. We are meeting today with city officials, high school, transportation, to really work out some of the logistics of transportation and traffic at the high school at the beginning of next school year, since that construction will have started. Moving of Hill Street will be in preparation. So a lot going on, and we're still working with FEMA and SEMA to get Benton off the ground. So just amazing. And then we had a patron step up and say, hey, we want the softball field to be just like the baseball field. We're going to go out and raise some money, and so they've tackled that challenge and already have commitments of over half of the cost of that project, and they're still working their way through that. So just exciting times. We've had a donor that stepped up, is going to put a batting eye at the baseball field, and then also put in some really nice benches and trees along the entranceway between the baseball and softball field, and their family foundation is going to pay for that. And just a lot of people are excited about where we're headed.
Hey, I'll tell you what, we need to tell people right now, if you haven't been out by what I'm going to call it, the Wildcat Sports Complex.
I like it.
Yeah. It's a great, great place. Go out by and look at the baseball field. It's in great shape. And to have a softball field exactly like it right next to it is just phenomenal.
Yeah. We will, there's no question. Our kids have long wondered why when they go to other places to play, those student athletes get to have X, Y, and Z. And when we're done, whether you're a musician, an athlete, a cheerleader, you name it, they will not have to take a back seat facility-wise to anybody.
You know, and the best part about that, and I'll tell a little story here real quick, during football season, we had a lot of injuries. We had a whole lot of injuries, and the first thing that people said was, it's that turf, it's that turf. No, it's not. Our kids have been playing on turfs at other schools for a long, long time. We're just catching up, aren't we?
Yes, that's a very good point. I heard a little bit of that too. If they hadn't had turf, we wouldn't have those injuries, and you're absolutely right. They would play on turf all the time, and so do the other schools. So,
how many kids are we going to graduate?
Oh, John, that's a good question. I wish I had the exact answer. I think it's around 300 plus, maybe a few. If I'm not mistaken, it's the senior class that's a little bit smaller than some of the others that are coming up. So don't take me exact on that, but I think that's pretty close.
Okay, let's talk about virtual for just a minute.
Sure.
Did that meet your expectations this year? There's some things that maybe will be a little different next year that we're going to tweak. Are
Sure.
kids being able to get through that okay?
Yeah, well, first of all, as I shared with you earlier, I'm very proud of Mr. Manley and his staff, because when we transitioned, we came out of spring break earlier than every other school. And so we had about 72 hours to figure out how we were going to do virtual education. And in that 72 hours, Mr. Manley, Mandy Liebeck, some of the other instruction team put together a plan where every one of our virtual students was going to have a teacher. So when we started this year, we had 600-ish virtual students across the district. And everyone that especially K-8, had a teacher assigned to them. Whereas many districts just handed out a computer and gave them some software and said, you stay home and work through this. We had a teacher meeting with them every day, and so we're very proud of that. That number has come back considerably because some families learned that their child doesn't do well in a virtual world. We had a lot of parent conversations around Christmas time, and several came back. So going into next year, we suspect we might have 100, 150 students that still want to do virtual, and we will look at doing something similar, maybe a hybrid class where one of our better teachers is teaching seated students and virtual students. But just a remarkable effort by those teachers that pivoted to virtual instruction and took on that challenge this year.
Well, kind of like a lot of other things, just because the pandemic is here, there are going to be some things that continue, and that's one of them. We're probably still going to offer a virtual option from now on, regardless of pandemic, right?
Yes, I would imagine that's the case, and really that helps us in a number of regards. Sometimes we have students that need to be homebound for various reasons. They made a mistake in school, and so they get removed from the school. Maybe it's an expecting mother. There's just all kinds of things over time that we have students that need to be at home, not at school. And so this virtual option just really helps us continue to educate our students regardless of whether they're seated or at home. Having said that, there is, in my estimation, and I think our instructional team would tell you in research, there's no substitute for being in class with your teacher.
Oh yeah, I would agree. Ask my grandkids, they'll tell you the same thing exactly. Okay, let's talk about one other thing real quick. It seems like that we as Americans have almost decided, well, this deal's over with and we're taking off masks and people shouldn't have to wear them, or people should have to wear them, and this and that. What are we doing at school?
Yeah, great question, and we're dealing with a little bit of that. We started having upper administrative conversations about masks probably a month ago. Are we going to stop before the end of the year? Are we going to stay till the end of the year? And really, after ascertaining several opinions from different people on our leadership teams, board members, community members, I think one of the things that stuck out most to me was we committed to parents at the beginning of the year that this was going to be our protocol. And until something from CDC, Department of Health and Senior Services, until something changes at that level that says, you no longer need to do this, we decided that we made that commitment. We're this close to the end of the school year. We're going to stay with that commitment. Our teachers are frustrated. Our students are frustrated. Heck, I'm frustrated. I've had it. I've double vaccinated. It's nice to be able to go out to eat now with my wife, which we didn't do for a long time. But we did make that commitment. So we're going to stay with that commitment till the end of school. And then summer school, we will go to optional or voluntary, however you want to say. If a student feels comfortable wearing it, if a staff member feels comfortable, certainly we would encourage that. But it'll be optional for summer school, and our expectation is that's how we'll start school next year.
Okay, well, I think that's great. I think people need to start thinking about what they want to do and how they feel most comfortable. Let's talk about summer school for just a minute. When does it start?
It starts right after Memorial Day. It'll go 21 days, and we've already had last number I saw, which has been a week or so ago, we had over 1,000 elementary students signed up. I know we'll have credit recovery and some things in the high school. So it's shoring up to be a pretty good sized summer school, similar to what we had 2 years ago. We do offer transportation, so if you haven't signed up yet for summer school, there's still opportunity, but we need to get you signed up.
Okay, all right, Dr. Cummins, let's see. We've talked about construction. We've kind of talked about sports a little bit. We've talked about where we're going from here. We've talked about masks. We've talked about summer school. We've talked about graduation in Thailand. Did we miss anything?
Well, I don't think so. I will give a shout out to the city of Neosho. We met with them last night and talked about just their support of moving Hill Street and just the support they've given us over the last a year plus since all of this kind of began from the infancy. And last night made some initial moves towards waiving half of our permit fees on these $32 million worth of projects. So kudos to them. It's been great working with the city manager and their crew. And so things are moving along nicely. We have monthly meetings with community leaders and civic and governmental leaders to just try to make sure that Neosho continues to be attractive to people that are looking for a great place to live.
Well, and we need to let people know that all of the facility changes that we're making, all of the improvements that we're making, is to make an environment that is conducive for learning, but it also allows us to attract real high-class talent in our teachers coming to Neosho, right?
You nailed it. The greatest thing I can offer a student is an outstanding classroom teacher, activity leader, coach. When we put outstanding people in front of our children in the classroom, out of the classroom, it will help them be better people.
Well, our guest has been Dr. Jim Cummins, who is Superintendent of Schools at Neosho. To know a little bit about Dr. Cummins, just visit with him. Pick up the phone and call him, and he will tell you. He will also tell you he is a Neosho graduate, and I think that's pretty important as well.
Yeah, it's exciting to see great things happening.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You bet.